Peace and great blessings to you guys. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to my channel. We are starting a new series, Catch That Work. We will be taking a deep dive into the infamous TikTok Shop, the Shadow Work Journal. Here we go. By Zenfulnote. Yeah. I'm going to get into this. This is day one. So it's a really cool book. Thus far, I went through the first 16 pages. It's really good read. It gives you a declaration to sign, right? And it reads as such. Declaration of intent. I, Ebony Johnson, I'm going to say my name, vow on this day to commit to my personal growth and acceptance. I promise to fill this journal out with an open heart and good intentions. I acknowledge that there are both pure and wounded parts to my being, and I choose to embrace and nurture both. I look forward to unveiling my shadows and bringing more light into this world through my personal journey of self-reflection and healing. Love that. And it has you sign and date it. And then once you complete it, it asks for a completion date, which is really cool. So the table of contents, it's like broke down into 4 sections. You can see that. 4 simple sections. Right? So the first section is basically giving you an overview or some insight on what shadow work actually is. And I went ahead and went through the first 15 pages, of course. And it's basically the introduction to what shadow work is. Okay. And okay, so the couple I read through, I'm not going to read the whole thing. So if you don't have the book, please go ahead and get that. But there was a couple of pointers in there that I really liked about it. Well, maybe, okay. Okay, I'm going to read this first part. What is shadow work? We need to know what it is, right? We gotta know what it is to do the work, correct? Right. So shadow work is about revealing the unknown. The shadow is an unconscious aspect of our personality that the ego does not identify with. You may experience your shadow when you're triggered in social interactions, relationships, in episodes of anxiety or sadness. The unconscious mind contains repressed emotions from painful events, causing impulsive behaviors and unwanted patterns that form your dark side. I love that. In short, the shadow is composed of parts of yourself that you have forgotten, abandoned, and repressed in order to grow and fit in with the mold of society. I thought that was very interesting. So they'll have later on in the book, it'll get into some prompts and things that you can get into. It's laid out pretty cool. So I suggest you get it if you don't have it. But the most important part or most interesting part that I found was learning what they're saying is the father of shadow work, Carl Jung. The concept of shadow work was first developed by a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, Carl Jung. Jung believed that exploring the shadow was essential for personal growth and individuation, the process of becoming one's authentic self. Which, and he refers to the shadow as the unconscious parts of our psyche. And he broke that down into 4 different parts, which is like amazingly dope. So what it says, where, let me see where it says that. They say the psyche is broken down into 4 different parts. It's the conscious mind, the unconscious mind. Okay, so the conscious mind is the part of our psyche that is aware of our thoughts and experiences, right? And then the unconscious mind contains the thoughts, feelings, and experiences that are outside of our conscious awareness. And then there's the personal unconscious, is the part of our psyche that contains the repressed thoughts, feelings, and experiences. And then there's the collective unconscious, which is the part of the psyche that contains the archetypes, the universal symbols and themes that are shared by all people. That blew me, like, oh, that is very completely insane. I would have never thought. And then it has this diagram here that kind of breaks down what that looks like. And I'm going to show it to you, right? You might have, I Googled this and I've seen it on Google before, but that's what that looks like. This is, when you do the shadow work, you'll be touching on all these parts of yourself. Can you see that? I hope y'all can see that. Right? Yeah, so it was one part. This right here blew me, okay? Mind traps. It has a little tool here called mind traps, and it goes through a series of different mind traps that we get caught in over our lifetime based on our traumas, our experiences and things. And these are like I would say, if I had lack of a better word, our vices, our coping for the things that have happened to us, the things that we've suppressed, those experiences or whatnot. And then we get into these mind traps. And this is what prevents us from being our true, authentic self, becoming whole and healing, dealing with that shadow self. So basically, shadow work is about the duality of it. Yes, you can be love and light and all that jazz. However, true healing goes into getting into those dark places that you don't want to talk about. Those things you didn't try to forget about. Shadow work is also about being self-aware of why things trigger you, why certain situations, certain people, certain activities ignite a reaction in you. And these mind traps were very interesting. I'm gonna read them. And the first mind trap is anchoring. It says the first thing you judge influences your judgment of all that follows. That's called anchoring, right? And then confirmation bias. You favor things that confirm your existing beliefs. So if you feel that way, then it's true. And you'll agree with anything that confirms what you already feel, even if what you're feeling or thinking isn't right or true. Yeah, I've done that before, and I know other people have done that too. Okay, and reactance. You'd rather do the opposite of what someone is trying to make you do. Yo, now I think this plays a part with a lot of people. I have an adult child right now that I know is functioning in this mind trap, because this child will quite literally know for a fact what I am telling her is true, valid, and verified, but she will still do the exact opposite. Why is that? She needs some shadow work, okay? And then it has sunk cost fallacy. And this mind trap, you irrationally cling to things that have already cost you something. This right here may play into the part of, I mean, I'm guessing, and I don't know this, and please do not quote me or, you know, me doing any judgment towards anybody. Maybe this might be a mind trap that goes with possibly folks staying in relationships that aren't good for them, that have done no good for them, caused them harm, maybe. We'll get into it because, like I said, I'm not an expert. But this is very interesting stuff for me. And then the next mind trap is the Dunning-Kruger effect. And this one says, the more you know, the less confident you are likely to be. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming they're going to get into that. Backfire effect. When your core beliefs are challenged, it can cause you to believe in them more strongly. I think this is an example of people being stuck in their ways. You know what I'm saying? You heard that concept. They just stuck in their ways. But sometimes it's that somebody's trying to tell you something that this is how I've been all my life, and now you trying to come over here and tell me something different. No, thank you. I'm 10 toes down on this. I can see that. I can definitely see that. And then the next mind trap is declinism. Declinism. There you go. You remember the past better than it was and expect the future to be worse than it will likely be. That negative mind, that negative thinking, right? And then the next one is framing effect. You allow yourself to be influenced by the context and delivery of things. Interesting. And then the last one they have here is negativity bias. You allow negative things to disproportionately influence your thinking. So you are a Debbie Downer, negative Nancy. Oh yeah. I can see all of that, and quite honestly, I've probably been tapped into all of these at one point in my life, in my journey, for sure. Okay, so the last one I'm going to read, because I think it's very important. It just speaks on how to do shadow work. Okay, shadow work involves exploring these unconscious aspects of yourself in a safe and controlled environment. This can include journaling, meditation, therapy, or working with a spiritual teacher or guide. This shadow book journal acts as a guide because it's a guided journal. It prompts you to do certain things, which is really cool for those who need help starting the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those people. I need prompts. I need to get into it. I consider myself very self-aware, so I know when things are wrong with me. I know when things don't rub me right. I'm pretty good with that. But there's always layers. Healing comes in layers, right? There's always things to discover and learn of yourself. And for me, when I start acting a certain way that's unusual for me, I take a step back and evaluate, like, yo, what's up with you? I talk with me. Seriously, talk with me. And I'm like, what's up with you, girl? What's going on, girl? We got to get that right. So that's basically what they're saying here. And then it says the goal of shadow work is to bring the unconscious into the consciousness and integrate it into our lives. By doing this, we can gain a greater understanding of our motivations, reactions, and behaviors, and make changes to live more authentic lives. We all have multiple parts. I just said that. Multiple parts to ourselves. And if we don't embrace the entirety of our being, we wouldn't be able to live a whole and authentic life. The process of integrating the shadow leads to self-acceptance, forgiveness, and unconditional love. Love that. In order to flush out your shadow, you must be willing to catch yourself in the moment of negativity and question where it stems from. That's that self-evaluation, checking yourself like, yo, you getting on your, I'm getting on my own nerves. I do that a lot. I do that a lot. That ass. I do it a lot. Oh, you get on my nerves. I know I be getting on my husband's nerves. And sometimes I be doing it on purpose. But then I was like, oh, why is you doing what are you doing all that for? That means I still got work to do, right? And then there was a quote that was really good, and it said, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with with the darkness of others, right? Because in reality, it says something like, what did it say? Basically, what we see in others is like an aspect of ourselves reflecting back. So it's like a mirror. So we really have to get with that, right? And I love this. I'm excited about this right here. And the next part we'll get into next week is the mindset of self-compassion. That's going to be the next week. We'll talk about that. I'll get into that part. That's the next section I'm getting into, and we'll talk about those things, and it gets into emotional triggers and how to oh, okay, we'll save it. We're gonna save it. But for right now, I would love for y'all to think about take some time tonight or by next week and think about those mind traps we talked about, and think about some scenarios in your life recently. Let's not go too far back. We gotta stay present, right? Because the past is gone, the future's not here, but we right here. So let's stay focused on now. What in the now moments? And if you want to, write it down for each day until next week. Comment in the comments and write it, and I will, if I see anything, I'll answer or whatever. But write down those situations where you catch yourself in that negative thought, in that negative moment, in that negative behavior, and think about the root of it. What caused that? What triggered that emotion, that thought? And let's talk about it, y'all. Because this is how we heal. You can't heal what you ain't willing to deal with. You hear me? You can't heal if you ain't willing to feel it. You got to be able to be willing to get uncomfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? So we are dual beings. We are both light and darkness. You cannot have one without the other. You can't have one without the other. It's like cause and effect, right and wrong. There's dualities to life. In this life, we got to deal with the seen and unseen, that conscious and unconscious. All of it together makes up who we are as a person. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, I like my spice. My shadow self, she can be a little much. However, in good balance, it works. It will work. It works because the light and love, Ebony, she might let some stuff slide that might not need to slide. You know what I'm saying? All things in good measure. So we'll get into it, y'all. But I'm excited about this. I hope y'all rocking with it. And I'm going to write some things down too. And I'm going to share it with you guys on the next video. So talk to y'all soon. Happy shadow working. Love y'all. Bye.